I have a few things to read, 3 short ones and a longer one if I have enough time. So I'm going to start with a short one. I live in Woodmont, so I wrote this on Woodmont Beach, sitting on one of the benches. If you know Woodmont, the sidewalk that goes all along the water there. I sat on one of the benches and I wrote this. I think this was like 3 weeks ago. It's called Here, Now. Right now, I think about these rocks, about this wind, about these waves, all crashing together. I sat here 2 decades ago when they lived behind me. We would walk here together, typically with the dogs, a couple of times with the ferret on a leash. We thought it was funny then, bringing the animals together down on the sand, right up to the lapping water. They would swim. They thought it was funny too. I still do. Here, now. Are you guys familiar with Sleeping Giant State Park?
Yeah.
Anybody? You know that structure where they used to mine on it's actually the forehead of the giant. They used to mine there, and there's that building built down there that you can see the remains of it. It's like the pillars and stuff like that. I call that the American Parthenon, because it looks like the Parthenon. So this poem is called Reflections on an American Parthenon. From the intersection of purple and red, vacant acres of tight-cropped lawn spread, an artificial meadow toward an ancient compilation of arches and trusses in a state of disintegration, a temporary home, a sanctuary for plants and animals who thrive on neglect and on the surroundings of man's forgotten past. I've been here before. An ancient wooden beam, creosote-soaked, toxic, abuts one column of the wall amidst crumbling blocks of concrete, outmoded of purpose, and steel framing, rusted, once a steady support for a roof or a floor. I hoist myself up, fearing for an instant the possibility of falling backwards into the debris below, adrenaline pumping as sweaty hands grip weathered concrete. I'd lunge, committing, forward, up, on top, and come to rest on the hard, rough surface, with insects, arachnids, and others feeling my quickened breath and pulse, out of place in the calm of quiet surroundings. This place is haunted by the ghosts of machines, by crickets hum, and lawnmower whirl. I can't wait for next spring to continue their songs. Signs of life here, echoed by invasive true blue crayon, etchings on stark industrial pylons, vandals attacking vandals, introduced species of weeds, claim territory of the ground, once blanketed by weaker native greenery. Virginia creeper, far from home, goes through the throes of autumn's reds, orange, and yellow, clinging desperate to these sad walls. Euonymus alatus, fizzle pink into fall, rather than burning, evidence of God's fires extinguished. And among these invaders, melancholy natives, raspberry brambles, sumac, and blooming aster, blend into the common theme of dilapidation and despair. Halfway up the wall, furry remnants of sturdy vines give evidence of attempts of nature to reclaim, arrested by past winter winds. Irregular rectangle cubes of broken concrete imprinted upon the molds of bygone purpose, repeated wave pattern of corrugated aluminum, or a vacant tube of rebar, form an irregular heap amidst these rogue plants. Across one wrinkled block, a snake undulates. Her back, a sequence of black and white stripes, perhaps a juvenile milk snake, Lampropeltis triangulum, and conforms to the steady configuration of rough, rounded peaks and troughs. I feel an urge to jump down from my perch, this moss-capped wall, for a closer look, but I think better of it, and watch from a distance as she slips off the block, disappearing into the thick twists of matted weeds and warmth of the ground. I am left with the sounds of crickets and light wind blowing through crisp edges of yellow maple leaves, brushing back and forth against each other until they can bear it no longer, relinquish a tentative grip, and fall for the only time into eternity. And from a distance, the ebb and flow of deep automotive buzz, engines and tires on asphalt highways encroaches on this site, where nature tries to start over. Reflections on the American Parthenon. Thanks. All right, the next one's shorter. I wrote this one like 2 weeks ago. Joyce doesn't like it, but it's called Demonic. And I'm reading it on Palm Sunday.
On Palm Sunday.
Yeah. So this one's called Demonic. Everybody's got their own demons. Mine are better than yours. I never was a Viking, not one with horns mounted. Demons wear horns too. Let's talk about demons. Let's talk about deities. Let's talk about shadows, falling from on high, following light to the ground, following light backwards down to hell, following you forward into your bed, burrowing under your blankets for warmth. Everybody is their own worst nightmare. Everybody is their best critic. Everybody was their own wet dream. How do we become better than we were? How can we become better than we are? How can we keep moving forward from here? The Capitalist Manifest. Should we? Will we if we can? Demonic.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Can I send you one more?
Yeah, one more short one.
This one's called The Wheel Goes Round and Round. And I wrote this one in April, which is the past couple of weeks. The wheel goes round and round. I read a lot of poems, by the way. We try to reinvent once again what have existed in iterations, past and past and past. We act like it's new, hasn't been done before, over and over and over. We want so badly to try something new, but we are afraid of consequences, collapsing and collapsing and collapsing. We still play the game because we want what is best for them, for them, for them. Why can't we start over? Past and past and past. Why can't we throw it all away over and over and over? Why can't we play nice for them, for them, for them? Why can't we stop ourselves collapsing and collapsing and collapsing? The wheel goes round and round. Thanks, guys. That's it.